Hey, what's up? Sean here, and I'm excited to be with AmyK Hutchens today. And we have now known each other for a couple years, and AmyK is a business strategist. She facilitates think tanks. She's an author, and we're gonna be talking about her new book on leadership. And what I love is, really, if you've never heard of her before or heard from her, she's really a big influencer, has worked with AT&T, Wells Fargo, Walmart, coaches CEOs, but also is really helping individuals ignite their brilliance, ignite their creativity, ignite their leadership. And I've experienced that personally, and we've been at Dr. Dave's event.
Yes.
And so I'm just super humbled and honored to have you here today and just to learn from you and hear some tips about your new book.
Well, thank you for having me. I feel honored to be here.
So, The Secrets Leaders Keep.
Yes.
Why this book?
I have heard for over 20 years that it is lonely at the top.
Yeah.
And my response is not anymore. So I love our CEO think tank environment. It's a safe place for leaders to come and be vulnerable and to learn. And I wanted to expand that out to the world to say to leaders, you know, here's the opposite. It's not 10 steps to being successful. This is the fears and the foibles that leaders face. Let's talk about it.
That is awesome. And what are some of just the critical messages summed up about the book?
Well, every single leader has secrets, and those secrets directly influence how they lead, good and bad. And then every single leader is on a leadership learning curve.
Yeah.
You are learning on the job, you are making mistakes, and it's how you respond to those learning opportunities that either propel you forward or prevent you from moving forward successfully.
Absolutely. So, takeaway wise, thinking about like, what did you want to accomplish? Like, if you want to win in the leader's life that's reading the book, what would you want them to walk away with and take away?
I want them to realize, one, that they're not alone. Two, that there's ways to transform their leadership faster, to actually get through the leadership learning curve more productively, more efficiently, and then to realize that they have the opportunity to maximize and actualize their brilliance if they actually challenge their thoughts, challenge their own thinking, and work through what they perceive to be obstacles or barriers and realize that they don't have to be.
Now, I've been reading the book, and there's, I believe, 14. There's 14 secrets. Everyone's connected to a story.
Yes.
Why that approach?
I started to write, this is going to be vulnerable, I started to write the book of like, hey, the 10 steps to be a great leader. And when I was done with it, I was like, I don't want to buy this book. This book's already been written.
Yeah.
And I have had the privilege of being a confidant to a lot of leaders. And so to me, it was just more natural and more helpful to take all these patterns and all these themes of our fears and our foibles and put them as an amalgamation into a character form. And then we love stories. We love learning from stories. We're hardwired for stories. I mean, we had oral historians long before we had written language. The power to learn in a parable can be exponential.
Yeah.
And so to me, it was more fun, it was more creative, it was more original, and more engaging for the reader.
Yeah, and I love that, and I think that's something that, it's funny because it's not a new thing, but I feel like it's kind of a new discovery right now for leadership trainers, leadership teachers. You know, parables have been around and stories have been around for thousands of years, but yet discovering that if we just give somebody the principle, it doesn't sink deep.
No, it's like going and seeing it on a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, it doesn't mean anything. But there's something about relating to a character's situation, context, and then their conflict, their emotional state that makes you say, oh my gosh, that's me, eerily me. I mean, it's like accurately me.
Yeah.
And that's what I want people to resonate with.
I love that. And what's one of your maybe one or two favorite examples in the book?
Yeah, I have a lot. I'm actually tied to these characters, but two that seem to be resonating the most is, one is a gentleman who suffers from the imposter syndrome. And the imposter syndrome is really just the belief that you are not worthy of the role that you're in. That at some point, you know, you're looking over your shoulder, waiting for somebody to like tap it and be like, hey, get out of here. You're not smart enough, you're not creative enough, you're not talented enough.
Yeah.
And so we look at the fact that really smart, capable leaders suffer from the imposter syndrome. You know, those who are like, hey, I got it all figured out, those are the ones we need to be worried about, not the ones that are in self-doubt. The other one that seems to be resonating a lot is self-criticism. We have one woman that is extraordinarily harsh on herself for some of the mistakes that she made early as a child, as well as in her early adult and her early career. And what we have this character do is learn to take that self-criticism and turn it into empathy and compassion for those that she leads, and she becomes highly successful when she does that.
Wow. You know, the chapter on really being an imposter,
Yeah.
it makes me think of a season for me when I was promoted into a whole new role, much bigger than you know, what my capacity was or what it was before, and I faced feeling that way every single day, and I think a lot of leaders do.
They do.
My question on that is, how do you overcome, you know, what are some of the tips and maybe principles from the book when you're dealing with that? And I like that you said it's a good thing, that if you just are, you know, what'd you say, overconfident,
Yeah.
if you're not even struggling with that, then you're maybe not a great leader, and I'm sure a lot of leaders watching would say, yeah, like, I don't know if I feel qualified. Every day I question my credibility. But how do you lead well then when you are stewarding those thoughts and emotions?
Two things is to question the validity of that statement. I mean, obviously to go back and look at the times where you made good decisions, where you had your own learning curve, where you had the skills to be able to say, okay, I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to learn. I'm going to continue to ask questions. I'm going to continue to surround myself with smart people.
I like that.
And so these are great ways for leaders to realize that, one, they're not alone. Two, they need to hire other talented people.
Okay, yeah.
We don't have it all figured out. We do have skill gaps, so shore that gap up. But then, more intimately, more personally, look at the truth of some of the things that we do in our self-talk. You know, we can be very critical of our gaps.
Yeah.
And when we look at it, we say, okay, look, there are things that I have to learn, but I also have these talents, and I have these strengths, and I have these abilities, and those can shine while I'm still learning. That's a much better and healthier balance.
I love it. So the secrets leaders keep.
Yes.
And so people can definitely pick that up. It's everywhere. And there's also a kind of like a program they can go through to
A deeper
absorb.
dive.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What is that
So
about?
I believe in long-term retention, so not just the quick blip. So one of the things that we've done is we've created an Ignite Brilliance community, and you can join the club. We send a video out every week for 12 weeks.
Yeah.
We have live Q&A time with me so that you can call in, ask anything that you want. Happy to share. I have guest expert interviews that we're sharing. So it's just this comprehensive, intense, let's learn how to win big in business and life.
I love it. Awesome. So where's that at?
AmyK.com.
Perfect. Okay, so definitely check out AmyK.com. Check out the book, and we'll put links in the description and blog post and everywhere else. And thanks so much for checking out this video, helping you grow your leadership and your creativity. We'll talk soon.